Hi, I've been working with the body and movement for 15 years, and it was a conscious choice. I started working with the body, being a psychologist, and wanting to understand meanings and values more deeply and better. And at some point, I came specifically to movement, why I, being a business trainer, chose such a path for myself to go into movement with my mind, into movement, into dance. And I'm not sharing about why it's important for people, why it's important for people to do dance and body movement. I have a lot of topics about why it's important, and one of them is just this whole idea about the body, about living in the body. Let's start with the fact that we all live in a body. We have no other choice. We're in it, and there are very different ideas about what the body is. But most ideas come down to the fact that the body is an instrument with which we do things in the world. We earn something with it. It brings us somewhere through some actions. One idea is that the body is like an instrument we write somewhere, but sometimes we try to kind of decorate it or do something with it so that it doesn't lose its shape, doesn't get in our way, or so it attracts other bodies it would be interesting for us to interact with, or something like that. Basically, that's where it all ends. Whatever we do, even when we say the body is a temple of the soul, and all these rituals supposedly aimed at the body, sports activities, and some spiritual rituals, maybe even tantra practices or something else, they're all kind of around the body, but they, in my opinion, never actually touch what the body really is. There is, there's this idea that the body is like our only interface with the world. I mean, we say body, and immediately when we say body, we kind of separate consciousness from the body with that very phrase. Although there's no consciousness separate from the body. Take artificial intelligence, for example. There's this problem that it has no body, and it learns differently because of that. It doesn't have that kind of experience. It will never become the same kind of consciousness without a body. Right now, technologies are even being specifically developed to give it a body so its intelligence can learn differently. When we say consciousness, we mean the brain, but the brain is the body. All our gates of perception kind of pass through the body, and basically everything we see outside, it seems to us like there's some world outside. And that's the same world that the brain creates for us inside the body. And it's constantly being washed with hormones there. Nerve impulses pass faster or slower. And the body mainly understands the language of movement. That is, the body is essentially a product of movement. You start looking into it. Even during embryogenesis, everything is formed not because something is predetermined in advance, but because everything moves and crawls in some direction, and through that acquires separate functions and forms. Through movement, the same centers are responsible for movement and for thinking. So basically, movement and thinking are the same thing. And besides, even speech, even the language with which we describe the whole world, it was formed not through vocalization but through gesturing. It also grew, such a paradox, that it grew from movement too. So we're completely a product of movement, and our body is the only way to perceive this world. Moreover, the whole world we perceive is our body. And from here, we need to think about how movement influences things and why we should move and what kind of movement to do from this point. Understanding that movement is what determines everything, completely the state of our consciousness. And all our consciousness is inside the body. No matter how much you earn, no matter how much success you achieve, no matter how comfortable an environment you live in, if you don't have a certain special optics tuned, you won't be able to simply see some beauty. You can surround yourself with beauty 100 times, like being in a hall among flowers and everything else. And the people who do dance, who interact differently with this world, see it differently, perceive this beauty. From my own experience, I can say that without movement, I just stop feeling this. I kind of separate, disconnect from the world, my thinking becomes very rigid. I just can't perceive everything that's happening. It's like there are fewer colors in my palette to simply see, hear, and perceive everything. And it only takes moving a little bit in an unscripted way. It's great to pump muscles, to do sports. It's very important to move non-stereotypically. This allows finding new spaces in your own body, or rather in your own consciousness, that is moving non-stereotypically. You open up some new parts of yourself in the literal sense too. You have some areas, if you do routine movements, even if it's sport or yoga, you simply don't reach some spaces in the body. And say lymph, for instance, it only circulates through movement. If movement doesn't reach somewhere in your body, it means lymph simply doesn't circulate there. And it's the same with consciousness. If your movements are only utilitarian, they only serve to take care of yourself in daily life, consciousness gradually starts working the exact same way. You start wanting stereotypical things. People who work in high tech, they've long understood this property we're talking about. This property they call flow, right? This is what all these people are looking for at festivals like Burning Man, and using microdosing, for instance, LSD. All of it works on one task: to make a person feel themselves in flow. But even they already understand that without movement it makes no sense. But since these people are not from the world of movement, they invent special machines that spin you around, so that in inverted positions the brain spends some time there and you could freely move a bit. But the key to everything is the body itself, movement itself. It's what puts you in this state of flow. And you only get into a state of flow through movement, through understanding yourself, and through allowing yourself to move more diversely. And this is actually quite scary, because especially if you've never moved, what for a dancer is a normal routine, for you it can just be like some outer space opening up. If you sit at the computer all day, and for you simply going out and being seen will be super scary, super incomprehensible, that's exactly where all the freedom begins. And that without this freedom, nothing else makes sense. Without connection with yourself, with the body, with movement, all this becomes meaningless, because you simply can't feel the fruits of everything you do as a result. It's like a blurry lens. You need to clean out